everybody, to another edition of the Raw Report. This is the one and only, the Ultra Maximus, coming at you live from Studio Maximus. Just a little hole in the wall. You are listening to the sounds of the Ultra Maximus, and I want to thank each and every one of you subscribers out there who have subscribed to the channel. For all of you that have not yet done so, please be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell for notifications. And don't forget to click that like button on the way. Share the video if you're watching this one on the rewind, and of course appreciate anybody leaving me a comment as well. And for all of you wonderful people putting together this Ultra box, you guys know it's a short box now, and this is my subscriber giveaway and my thanking of all of you guys and all of your support. Don't forget to tune into the next episode of the Secret Variant, and of course the Wednesday night comic book presser on Wednesday. The Secret Variant already dropped yesterday. I've got a couple other cool videos that you probably be checking out. Marvel Legacy second printing homage list, as well as the Marvel Hip Hop Variant Platinum list. And then, of course, check out the featured channels section with all of these wonderful people. Make sure you subscribe to their content. And then don't forget to also check out the Mighty Mel V. Make sure you're subscribed over there. The Ultra Maximus Speculation Matrix Variant Edition done on Friday nights on that channel. We got something coming at you with this new art contest. So peep this. This is the Spawn number 1. This is the King Spawn 9 and 10 black or white and black sketches. Make sure you're taking a look at the Gunslinger Spawn 7 and 8s, as well as the Scorched 5 and 6s, and then the Spawn 329 and 330s. Mel is opening up an art contest, so you're going to want to have those blanks ready and loaded. And of course, follows are always appreciated, whether it be on Facebook, on IG, or on Twitter. And you can find all those links on the channel homepage on that logo, the third one on the right. All the way over on the right. Click those links. And of course, for all of my auctioneering friends, make sure you download Whatnot and get out there. I really need to get on there and buy some more inventory, because I've already wholesaled all my good stuff off to my buddies. I didn't even make it to a sale, and this is partially part of the problem, but also I've been running short on time. But you can still follow me on Whatnot, and I promise you, if you are locked and following me when I go live, man, you're going to see some stuff. Of course, you guys know I'm using White Bat Audio for the soundtrack here, and please be sure to subscribe to their content on YouTube. Karl Casey at White Bat Audio is also available at whitebataudio.com and on Spotify. The man who did this wonderful logo work here, Mr. Herd S. Eric on IG, is also a fantastic variant cover artist. Please be sure to hit him up for appropriate work, and just know that he's the man. Because look at that. Isn't that a sick logo? And then you know what? Look at this. Look at this. Hello, everybody. I am the Ultra Maximus. Thank you for joining me here on my channel for what is aiming to be another wonderful pickup excursion. Basically, the Raw Report that you're looking at here is just me chilling, kicking it. And we're also doing an Ask Maximus Anything at the end of the program here. So for all of my fellow IG peoples and Twitter peoples and everybody else who's got the notification that I'm going live here, I only gave you about 15 minutes of a heads up. I know it's not really a whole lot, but I do what I can when I can. And living life to the Maximus allows me to do that and bring you guys this content. So I'm really, really happy to be able to be here and kind of talk about some of the books I've picked up over the last, well, basically this is a month's worth of pickups, because the last time I did a Raw Report was on 2/28. So it literally has been a month. I didn't do an entire Raw Report for March. But so be it. Sometimes that's what happens. But thank you guys again for joining us here. We don't have any chatters, though, which is interesting. So we just got some people watching. All right, well, watch on. And so let's get back into this here. We are going to be doing a thank you from Comic Barricade, of course. So we got a little bit of a thank you for helping keep your books upright in your boxes. You want to know what that's all about? Well, that's using the code ULTRA. Get yourself 10% off that. And then, of course, got to give a shout out to WannaComics.com. Make sure you have bookmarked them. Make sure you follow them on Whatnot. Make sure you follow them on IG. Geeking Out with Roscoe. Good to see you, man. Oh, look, Nate's in the house, too. Good to see you. But Drew over at Wanted Comics been doing big things for the community for years, so he's definitely one of the better sales shops out there. So make sure you give him a follow. And of course, what's up, Dre Barnhouse? Everybody else, Flynn's Ghost. Again, the super chat isn't active. We're working on that LLC starting up. Oh, Lucas in the house. Thank you for stopping by, Lucas. But that paypal.me/UltraMaximus is there if you're feeling frisky and you want to support our comic book journalism endeavor. Because that's what this is all about. Oh, and this ain't the Raw Report 22821. Oh, geez. See, that was the last time I did one. Make sure you go check out that last Raw Report, and then you come and check out this one again. But let's talk about this. So the first section, again, is going to be my pickups. Because as far as these are going to be like the new pickups, my new releases, the stuff that I get on my LCS, the stuff that I don't have to go outside of my normal venues to try to track down out there on the internet, because nobody likes doing that. Give you something new to spec on. Well, I might. You never know. I might. So we'll have to see how that goes. But let's switch the screens here. Let me get rid of my keyboard. All right. So let's do this thing up, everybody. So hello, my wonderful Ultra Maximal people. Here to maximize your collection. Hip Hop and me in the house. What's up, man? Okay, so these books, again, are going to be my local LCS pickups. And you're going to be like, dang. So let me just make sure. I don't think there's a single one of these that I paid over cover for. I'm just making sure. I'm going through them. I think there might be some of them that I bought like a month too late, and they charged me 50 cents more. But we're just gonna go forgo that, because basically, yeah. So this is. Oh wait, there's actually one wall book, so that counts down there. We'll talk about the wall book after the regular releases. So okay. So here we go, and you want something new to spec on? Well, it might be in there. Omar, good to see you as well. And, okay. First up and foremost, of course, is going to be Teen Titans Academy 12, the variant cover. So this, of course, is the first appearance of a new Red X. This, of course, is also the death of the Red X that we have been tracking. And to find out, it was one of the kids in the academy. I mean, we knew it was one of them. We just didn't know which one of them it was. So I definitely didn't want to miss out on another appearance of the Red X, but also with it being the final issue in the saga of that one Red X story. Or is it? We don't know. So another just odd book that I've been picking up, and you can shame me for it if you want, but Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land. I picked up this variant just because it was a good looking cover. It was an open order variant. It wasn't the 1 in 25. The 1 in 25 actually is that connecting map variant. And some of those, sometimes it doesn't need to be an incentive variant to be the better variant. Like we've got Raza covers on Moon Knight books that weren't incentives that were better than the incentive. But here's a Pepe Larraz variant cover, of course, for issue number 3 of Khazar. And it's really, really interesting what they're doing with this book. It was a good read, and that's why I'm going back and trying to find high-grade copies of the book. That's all I'm saying. I'm not really specking hard on it. Some people might be into jungle love between Khazar and Sheena, So... Okay, so you guys know I have a guilty pleasure when it comes to Star Wars comic books. There's only one way I prefer to collect the Star Wars run. If there is an offering of the book in a action figure variant, I'm going to pick it up. So here is another one added to the collection. This, of course, is Star Wars number 21 from the volume 3, and this is the Barada. And he's not all that big. Jungle Boogie. Jungle Boogie with me. So this Devil's Reign X-Men number 2, little Elektra versus Emma, And issue 2's variant cover. So I got the variant. I chased the variant set of Emma Frost on that one. And then this is one of those books that I talked about on the Wednesday Night Comic Book Presser maybe a couple of weeks ago, where it just kind of snuck in there and kind of, you know, having Frank Castle's first in-story appearance in his new hand outfit. So the first appearance of Hand Castle. Hand Castle. Because he's not a sand castle. Okay. So this is a book that I told my LCS about. I was like, look, there's printer problems. Orders are going to be filled. I promise you orders are going to be filled. They wanted $10 for it on release day. And this is a comic shop that I've got, like, some weeks they love me, some weeks they hate me. I don't get it, but it's like sometimes they're cool with me and they hook me up with one for $4.99 because I'm bad about FOC. Let's just say again, I talked about it on my FOC show where I feel entitled a lot of times. And sometimes I get hooked up, sometimes I don't. It just happens. Beyond White Knight? No. None of that. Zero of that. But anyway, this is one of those books that they let me get for cover price, but they only let me get one for cover price, and they still got more for $9.99. I'm just trying to put together one set of those covers, and actually I just bought the last one today, but it's not going to be here for a while, and I've already started. Well, you know, let's just be honest. There's some books that I'm still waiting on to come in that have not come in from some big players. And there's another Raw report already in the making. So there's also another couple of comic shops that owe me some books. So there's going to be some things. But as far as when it goes to first appearances, it's always good to get a second print first cover, right? This is what I told myself, because the first print first cover, I got 3 copies of that, thanks to Mel V sending me one. And then me being able to pre-order one, and then being also able to get one on my LCS after telling them to bump their orders. Because, you know, again, I'm that guy. If I go into the store and they haven't talked to me since FOC, I'm definitely going to be like, hey man, just wanted to give you a heads up. This is what I saw. Because sometimes, can you believe it? There's local comic shops that live near me, even one that I used to work for, that doesn't watch my programming. Anyway, one of my guilty pleasures in collecting, of course, is X-Men Legends, being that it is kind of like classic X-Men, the early volume of it, not X-Men Classic, the classic X-Men when they were kind of inserting new stories into the already existing X-Men lore. It's one of the reasons why I think there's a lot of untapped potential that you guys see me pick up in books before. Don't front. Still after issue 2, because I asked for and this is another one of those things. It's like I've asked for the book and it gets pulled, and then I'm like, okay, cool, it's in my box. I don't worry about it. Doc Joe in the house. What's good? And then there's other times when like a book is on my pull list and it makes it to the shelf, and I'm there and I go, it's not in my box, and he goes, it's on the shelf, and I'm in there digging for it on the shelf, and somebody asked for it back over there, and the employee walks over to the shelf, knows exactly where it was, same book I'm looking for, pulls it off the shelf, gives it to the other guy. I'm like, wait, what? Like, dude, that was supposed to be in my pull box. So I walk over to the guy, I'm like, hey man, they messed up, that one was actually supposed to be in my pull box. And he's like, oh man, really? And like a couple weeks earlier, I had given him another Star Wars book. So very good customer, very good guy, was reluctantly gave me this book, but he gave it to me. He gave me my Crimson Reign number 3 that was supposed to be in my box, man. I was like, bro, that shit was supposed to be in there already. So it worked out. You know, I was able to get my book. No problems there. And then a book that if you're in the X crowd, you follow different team organizings and things like that in first appearances of villainous people. Sometimes everybody's like, I don't spec on villains, and it's like, yeah, okay, maybe you. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just like different team arrangements, and well. I also take note when they really pump a character to their Marvel Voices books. Make sure that it's in your face, that you know what their voice is saying, and then they put that person on a team. I take note. So, what is it? Solmus or whatever his name is, joins the Marauders in this annual, and of course this is the second print. Of course it has him on the cover. It's also the first appearance of that dude Brimstone, big old Tim Curry, I Am Legend looking devil dude who's apparently a villain. Alright, so Suffragette. That was supposed to be the joke that these guys were getting at, but this is the Captain Carter Women's History Month variant. So this is a theme variant, and there's going to be a couple of different theme variants that you're going to see going through here. But these are books, again, that when I'm taking the Ultra Maximus approach towards buying my new releases that I want to collect and I want to read, this is the way I'm going about it. I'm usually buying, if I know there's like a variant set, Black History Month. Women's History Month now for the ones after that. And then we got Asian American variants coming up soon, yada yada. You guys know how it rolls. So let me see what I can do to mix it up here. Oh yeah, got some goods. That's good. It's the same book, I think. Oh, okay, that's why I kind of broken up like that. So yeah, carrying on the variant theme thing. I need one more. Well, actually, I technically need two because my 421 variant is trashed. Had a split cover, but it's the only way I can get a copy of the book because all of them arrived damaged. Even the ones, the replacement for Penguin Random House at my LCS, they got damaged. But I did, was able to get one of the Spider-Man, Peach Momoko, Amazing Fantasy 15 swipes. In my opinion, it's one of the better ones, but it is wild that it is like everything's in Japanese on it, like instead of it being like the New York skyline and stuff like that. Like, take a look at it again. It's all Japanese landscape. So it's pretty tight looking. Pretty good looking stuff there, right? Okay, so let's take a break from the variant themes for a minute. And we'll take a look at a second print that has been apparently pretty ruthless when it comes to these covers. So even CGC has been notating it as water damage. Like, what? You're water damaging the new books? That's crazy. So yeah, so it's gonna be a tough little thing to try to get around them on. We'll see what happens, but I heard they're grading these Black Panther 3-second prints quite harshly. So yeah. All right. Next book is a very interesting Eternal story. Another book that I spoke of on the presser. I even broke it down in the read pile a little bit more detailed to show that it's the first appearance of the updated versions of some characters that had previously appeared in other, like flashback appearances and such, but also nabbing the variant. Everybody's like, oh, dude, Eternal spec? That's gross. Well, I don't really spec on things that have to have MCU potential. I just kind of like specking on things that maybe have good story potential, good character potential, and maybe other good comic book appearance potential. It doesn't really necessarily have to be movie for me. But I tell you what, it doesn't hurt when stuff is based on a movie, right? Or Mandalorian TV series and getting some of these guys in their Mandalorian armor. But these are I forget who the other one was, but it was really cool to see them adapting the Mandalorian covers, and then of course the other Dr. Aphra variant. Some of these Dr. Aphra covers, when they have 3 or 4 variant covers and they're all open order, think about that. That's a sales total split up. Okay, so there is one more of those and then theme variants. Okay, So you guys know that this one has gone second printing. A Cerebus 1 8.0 for 8K is pretty decent. Pretty decent. So Avengers Forever number 4. Welcome back to the Granddaughters of Thor. And of course, the first in-story appearance of Captain Carter as Captain Carter. Not as Captain America. And that's the caveat that I think everybody's using to get around the Exiles. Because everybody's saying in the Exiles, she's Captain America. She's not Captain Carter. Captain Carter is a different character who goes through the Super Soldier Serum. I don't know. I have to read them both over again and kind of compare notes and kind of see if it's kind of similar to the Runa situation, because the Exiles Valkyrie is not the same as the Valkyrie that we find in Return of Valkyries. And even in the wiki, it says 2 different characters are based upon Tessa Thompson, her likeness at least. What up? Real Rude, good to see you. Designated Decoys in the house. Yeah, see, Omar got it down as Bo-Katan and her girl, Casca Reeves. All right, so when it comes to theme variants, I'm on the hunt. I really like these. These are the Infinity Saga. There's a Phase 1 set and a Phase 2 set. And of course, the Phase 2 set's going to feature moments from Phase 2 of the MCU. So this is kind of like light MCU spec without really a whole lot of gamble. Just pick a nice quality, high-grade copy and hope it grades 9.8. And then if you get a nice little set of these, that's definitely a good PC. These are all PC books. I mean, most of the stuff that you see here is total like personal collection, and you know how it is, it's personal collection until it's not. But these I really try to hunt down. So here's the Iron Man, of course, with the Phase 2. Iron Man 3, nobody's really into that, right? And then this one is the Avengers Age of Ultron. This was actually a really, really decent cover. What up, newbie? So the Age of Ultron Phase 2 variant as well. Yeah, newbie saw that Iron Man 3 one with all the different armors. And then we got this one from the Winter Soldier, of course. So it's really cool. It's all pretty good artists depicting different moments from Phase 2. And again, there's that Phase 1. Phase 1's out there as well. What up, Remo? Okay, so and as you guys know, bang bang, right there, right? The Daughterman. So you know how it is. You don't have to tell me twice. Like the biggest regret I have out of all of those Daughterman books is by far spending $55 on the road at one store, going to another store and seeing it for $65 and being like, nah, not buying it, and then regretting it much later, because at $65 now is pennies, because you cannot find that there Rogue Excalibur Russell Dauterman 125 variant. Yeah. I got two of those. That was a pretty easy open order. There's only been a couple of them that have been incentives. So we've got the Jean Grey from X-Men #1, the previous volume, right after House and Powers of X. That Jean Grey is like the first one that kicked it off, and it's got all the the different Jean Greys going around the circle there. And then the Excalibur is a 1 in 25. The Inferno is also a 1 in 25, and I thought there was another one, but all the rest of them, the Psylocke and Quanon, that was open order. The Storm Sword was open order. The Savage Avengers were 2 open orders, except for the second print ratio, obviously. So it's a pretty decent set to collect. I'm not really into that second print 1 in 25 though. It's kind of overpriced. People still wanting $50 for it, and it's just sitting. It doesn't look anywhere near as good as the first print, but they stopped doing it after 2 issues. At least of Avengers stuff, because they should have been an X-Men exclusive set. Just saying. But that pretty much concludes all of the pickups. But let me show you the one wall book. So at least at this store, I get discounts once a month, 20% on basically anything in the store. And of course, if you got some other discounts and things that you can use, you can really get a really big book for cheap sometimes. Well, I got a high ratio incentive, 1 in 1,000. Maybe a little bit of spec to this one, so let me keep the suspense up a little bit. You guys know that, like, my guilty pleasure, of course, other than Transformers, is a lot of like you see, mutant stuff behind me. So when we have X-Men appearances and they come with a 1,000 copy incentive, if the character happens to be a favorite character of yours, or a character that you like their character and you want to see that character do well, maybe just maybe get that appearance in something a little bit more mainstream, maybe Disney Plus TV or movie. I'm not saying that's going to happen with this character, like, at all, so please don't quote me on that. But what I am saying here is that I like this character enough that I was like, you know what, let me get their first appearance. Well, damn, they've got a 1 in 1,000. All right, well, let me see if I can find one for a good price. And I did get it for a good price. So here we have X-Men Red #1. And then this one right here is the first appearance of Trinary. So take it for what it is. If you're a fan of the character Trinary, just know that X-Men Red #1 does indeed have that 1 in 1,000 incentive. There's a color 1 in 500, if that's more your flavor. You find that one a little bit cheaper, of course. And then we'll see what else, because it's a new month. It's been 3 days into the month. If the other book that I was eyeballing, they've got another high ratio on their wall. I've been eyeballing it for a while, so stay tuned. We'll see what happens there. So, moving on. That was the new pickup version or new pickup session that we had here on our show tonight. And we're going to move on to yet another fun topic. And this is, of course, everything that Ultra gets on the mail drop. So I usually am pretty reserved when it comes to stuff that I'm buying online. As you guys know, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, but you guys out there on Whatnot are eating. And you can't tell me you're not, because Mel tells me what you guys are getting some of his high ratio variants for. And some of the really rare stuff is going for good prices. Like, you guys are getting, like, equity. And you got to love it when you buy a book with equity, right? So, shoot. Okay, yeah, I did put it there. I got a slab, and it's a book that, it is what it is. So it's one of those impulse purchases. I FOMO'd myself on a spec matrix. It happens. You guys know that happens to even me, right? Like, I spec matrix FOMO myself. And shout out to Mel V for, of course, openly admitting that. I was like, bro, I bet you half your collection is spec matrix FOMO, bro. And he's like, you ain't lying. So, since this is the mail drop section, so this is basically everything I order from the different comic shops online, some honey holes, some large retailers who do me dirty, and I got to basically press everything that comes through. But first book up is had to get another copy of the Black Panther 300 Black Panther 300 or 200 issue number 3, first Tosin, second print, to go along with the 2 lowly Gary Frank variants I got for issue number 3. And all I'm going to say is this: if eventually best artwork does take over the premise of most collectible, I hope that Gary Frank variant is in your collection. I'm just saying, look at all 3 variants that came out for initial release, right? And then, of course, the Jusco later on. Yeah, Lucas, absolutely good news, and you know it. You absolutely know it. You could have saw that one coming a million miles away. So people are going to go run and clear out eBay. They're going to go and clear out big retailers. And I mean, there was already a 50 copy incentive that I knew people. We told you. I mean, way back in the day, if you're going to order it, order 50 copies, get you one of the 150s, two of the 125s. Do that whole big order and deal, get yourself a whole bunch of the A covers, because the Spider-Punk may be really popular. Spider characters. Why are they the most popular? Spider homages. Why are they the most popular? Especially when they're done by the Todd Father. Well, this is the reason why I bought this Spawn. He convinced me to do it, man. And then, shout out to Mel, who was like... Mel didn't like this book no more once they put it back on FOC for another week. And then, as I was showing you guys earlier, I'm trying to put together a set, maybe. There's the old Valkyrie, the Women's History variant. No, it's not Chasm. But you know what it is? It's more Devil's Reign. But this time, this is the Sway variant, Luke Cage. Again, trying to piece together that set. And all the remaining ones of that set are en route. I was able to locate them all for a decent price. I think the only one I ended up getting that I had to spend more than cover price on was the Fantastic Four, which cost me $8. That was the hardest one to get, let's be honest. And I didn't FOC it. Awesome Sauce Radio, good to see you. So, did you guys hear about a little show that just debuted on a little streaming service? Well, recommended read of that week was definitely this book on the presser, because of how brutal and how very much organized the old Moon Knight was in that episode, or in that issue right there. The episode wasn't too bad either for episode 1. I have to say, I already had a copy of issue 6, and my copy of issue 6, I already have the Raza variant, which has Moon Knight with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's all like Egyptified out. Like, did you guys not see that? Before issue 7 with the Mr. Knight suit, Raza did a variant cover for issue number 6, which was wicked. So that was cool. But then I saw the second print and I said, man, that's transformative. I've got to get it. So this is Moon Knight number 6's second print. And it hit the shelves of my LCS. I didn't think it was going to be there. And then I went through the stack and all of them had spine breaks. I already had pre-ordered one copy. So I was going to try to get a second one. Basically, if it's a hot book and I know I can get a hot book, I'll pre-order it if I know the seller is sometimes reputable as far as shipping me decent copies, which is hit and miss nowadays. But then if I can try to get a good copy at the LCS, it's like a win-win, right? And then here is the variant cover that I got from a major place that was selling for way under what it was, and it already had hit the hot 10. This, my friends, is the Moon Knight number 9 incentive variant. And this is just masterful looking art. I'm sorry. This is indeed the reason why I picked this one up, was just art alone. But I did not want to pay that $55, $65, $75, whatever it was doing before. And I managed to wait and hold out, and I found a seller who had them for like 30-something bucks. I was like, boom, I'm in. You know, it's always good to see. I hate paying over ratio. That's like my normal buy-in. But that book was just something that had to happen. Andre, good to see you. So, as stated before, I picked up a second copy. This one was the one that I had pre-ordered through the mail. And then, yeah. That one's going to join the other one. I'll have these organized. Let's do that. You guys, I'm trying to make it entertaining for the remainder of the show. That's how it should be, right? Okay, so continuing on with that wonderful Infinity Saga. Now this was weird because I didn't know what was going on with this book, because when they previewed the artwork, all they showed was just the ether red. They didn't show any of the other stuff that was going on in it. It made it very, very hard to determine whether or not you wanted to pre-order this book. It's like, previews, what, or Marvel, what are you doing? Like, this was also on the Praying Miranda announced that it's like that way. So all you saw was the red ether, but this is the Phase 2 moment from For the Dark World. And then it doesn't matter if you were able to nab one of these with the black and white and red, or with the color. If you're able to nab either one of these Virgin Red Sonias by Sozo Micah, I'm sure you did it for the artwork. Just saying. I have no taste. Save that stuff for the Ask Me Anything there, Adam. I know you got a ton of questions about stuff you'd like to get answered, and again, this is one of the things. I'm on the spot. I will answer honestly. This is where you should be asking me these questions. And sorry for people who've PM'd me and I haven't gotten back to them yet. Oh, see, I did take this one out of order. Here's and yet another Phase 2 Guardians of the Galaxy variant. And then, of course, the Devil's Reign, issue number 3, Perel. This is straight fire. But you know what else is straight fire? That Avengers Forever number 4. And that's actually what that Guardians of the Galaxy variant is too. So if you're piecing together this Avengers Forever saga stuff, yeah, you need to, if you value the spec in that book and you are trying to put together that Phase 2 set like I'm showing you here, yeah, you probably want to get that taken care of. So the other one, of course, is the RB Silva. This is the Mantis variant cover. Unfortunately, I got this one from Midtown, and this one came bashed to shit in the corner. So, I mean, it fixed by me through a wonderful little press process. It'll hit 9.6 at the most, which really sucks. Because it's such a beautiful book. So yeah, this is probably going to be a tough 9.8 out there if they're all looking like the way the one Midtown sent me. But I like this cover. I also spoke to this one because there's not too many Mantis covers. Like, she really hasn't had too many cover appearances outside of her like initial stuff back in the day. So that was kind of wild. And then, of course, with all the revelations in this one, but the Mateus Mahanini doing the artwork. I spied this one on FOC. I said, realistically, man, that's the cover right there. But this is, of course, more of that Phalanx Wolverine story. And if you didn't catch that, this all needs to be... So here you go. So you got to read X Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine before you read Immortal X-Men. But that's your reading order going into Immortal X-Men. Of course, because it's a Campbell book, I'm a total simp for Campbell books, especially when it's got the red head and the gray-haired friends of Peter Parker. You know, Peter the Swinger. Good old Pete. So this was a Mercari pickup for me. And you're going to be like, what? Like, hey, sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. You know, Mercari is indeed very, very bad for buying comics. Luckily, out of the three, the one that I wanted to have a 9.8 candidate of arrived as a 9.8 candidate. The other two, not so much. Maybe a press might get them there. But we'll see. We'll see. But let me just show you the 3-pack that I got. So this was indeed a spec buy of mine. Mr. and Mrs. X #1. Not really the book that has the spec, but still a cool book nonetheless. Especially if you're into the relationship of Rogue and Gambit. This is, definitely a high point. Being a lover of Deadpool books, don't mind it when he's on an A cover. And as you guys know, during the Uncanny Avengers, Deadpool kissed Rogue, and because of doing that, Wonder Man was able to escape because he was like held captive inside Rogue or something. Like she had absorbed him at some point. So I do remember that happening. So Deadpool still has feelings for it. But the book that you should be looking for, and this one's still available in your back issue bins and some of your holes in the walls that you can't really find when you're looking for books, and then you come across this place when you're walking down a dark alley and it's like some guy going, hey buddy, you want to buy some comics? And you're like scared, but then he takes you to a warehouse sale downtown, and you're like, holy shit, man, should have told me sooner. But you're looking for Mr. and Mrs. X number 3. There's a Phil Noto variant out there. Unfortunately, I know a very shady individual that bragged about clearing the internet of those like months ago. So I'm probably never going to see one. But if you do see a Phil Noto variant for a not head-robbing price, think of your boy Ultra and let me know, because I'm after it. But this is, again, the first appearance of Professor X's and Lilandra's daughter by genetic material. They combine the genetic material without the normal, the traditional methods of making life, and created basically a child that is the lineage of both Professor X and Lilandra. And let me say this right now: I really hope X-Men get more of a Shi'ar kind of like descendants, the same way like they're trying to like correct Eternals and make X-Men deviants and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there, and I wonder why all of a sudden the shuffle. But Mr. and Mrs. X number 3, it's a good pickup if you can find it. Again, Professor X's daughter, specs well. May the spec be with you. All right. So let me do it in this order, and I'm going to end on those two there. But previous Spec Matrix, I talked about this character and her possible significance being, something that would bridge both the Shi'ar and the Kree worlds. And this, of course, is the Ms. Marvel number 9. First appearance of Deathbird. This one is, of course, in a 9.0. It was a FOMO buy. Like I said, I FOMO'd myself into a Spec Matrix buy that night. Yeah, man, I appreciate that, Blind Adam. Good luck to you, man. Finding that Phil Noto 1 in 25 incentive is because the book sucked. Let's just be honest. Nobody was ordering that. Nobody really cared about Mr. and Mrs. X. So the book did not get ordered very heavily. And that 25 copy incentive is just floating around out there somewhere. But it's out there. But like I said, the Deathbird, of course, that's one of my own specs. And you guys know what I tell you. Don't listen to the guy who's telling you what to spec, but he doesn't buy any of that. Look at what the people are buying, not what the people are having for sale. Thank you. I'll be here all night. So another book that I tracked down, and this is not just any book, ordinary book. As you guys know, I have a very, very special place in my heart for the New Mutants, specifically the Rob Liefeld generation of New Mutants. It is basically the New Mutants book that is very much a big part of my childhood. So with that said, I am trying to track down certain versions of these books. And what version might that be, you ask? Well, I was able to obtain this New Mutants number 85. And yes, it is not only in the newsstand. It's only got one piece of tape on it. I think I can do this one. So not only is this book a newsstand, but this book has something else very much on the desirability of my collection. So I'm trying to expand my collection in different ways without going after books that you guys like, because of course you guys hate Rob Liefeld, so you don't give a shit about these. This is why I'm going to show you this. But nonetheless, there is a very special way to collect some of these New Mutants books. And my way of collecting it just so happens to be with the good old Mark Jewelers insert inside. Oh yeah, Real Fake Comics knows the deal. So check out that wonderful guy inside right there. So this is indeed a New Mutants 85 Mark Jeweler. I've tracked down some pretty beat copies of some of these books in my day, and sometimes really, really destroyed copies come up. But if it's basically like an 8.0 or higher, I'm probably buying it. So with this 85, I'm on the hunt for 86. 86 and 98 are the two really big ones. 98 especially. I have an 87 Mark Jeweler, 9.4. So, yeah, a real Fake Comics. It's definitely not on the common side. And this is the reason why I'm after them, is because those are the ones that I want to. That's like a chase of mine. Like, some people chase DCU variants, some people chase Mark Jewelers. For you guys who want to start a Mark Jeweler hunt, I welcome you to do so. New Mutants had a Mark Jeweler insert from issues 1 through 99. So that should be reassuring news for you that no New Mutants 100 had a Mark Jeweler insert. No, they're available on newsstand out there, but there's no Mark Jeweler. And then they did not continue on with Mark Jewelers in X-Force, which is crazy. So, but yeah, that's quite a rare book, and that is the last of those. And then I got 2 more books. Technically, I got 1 more book to complete this variant set. Technically, after I show you these 2, technically I have 1 more. So you guys know that I collect some of these Star Wars variants called the John Tyler Christopher action figure variant. We showed you one of the open order ones from the LCS that I was able to put in my collection for Star Wars number 21. Well, there are 2 more that have been added to the collection. I'm going to start off showing you the first one. This is the Star Wars number 58. This is the Princess Leia Organa Yavin Gown variant, John Tyler Christopher exclusive. So these are all limited to 3,000. These are only available through the John Tyler Christopher website. These all sold out in mere minutes, and then reappeared all over eBay, and was originally a $20 buy-in. Yeah, originally $20. So this one should have been on everybody's radar, and I actually had to pull the trigger on this one right here. Nothing JTC can do about that, man. JTC does his best, but this is a reseller that is always getting his hands on exclusives no matter what. But the Age of Republic Count Dooku number 1 John Tyler Christopher Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Master action figure variant coming up for the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus. Man, this was a wild ride, because I just basically prolonged buying some of these for so long, just because I was like, man, they're gonna come down one day. They're gonna come down. But the good news is I used eBay points and my eBay MasterCard in order to be able to get those for a real good deal. So I'm not really mad. So technically, I need the Rancor. That's the only one that's technically missing from my collection, because I do have a CBCS 9.8 SS Star Wars number 66 with Yoda signed by John Tyler Christopher. However, I got that one because I paid for a raw number 66, and the seller felt bad that he was sold out, and he sent me the slab. So it's kind of a predicament, you know. Do I want to keep that one? It's actually behind me on the Star Wars ones that are behind the chat there, giving the background to the chat. So it's one of those situations, guys. You know, technically I need just the Rancor from, I think it's issue 73, and that also was a John Tyler Christopher exclusive, and they're not cheap because there's only a few people that have them. And actually, let's just be honest, it's only one person that has them. But I'll give you guys this word of advice. The John Tyler Christopher Bossk, hardest one to get. Absolutely, hands down, bottom line, hardest one to get in that set. Nate, I believe negative on that one. Never, ever, ever in a million years. So here's what I like. Mandalorian number 1's coming, right? And he's gonna have the first action figure variant with him in the old armor, and then he's gonna have another action figure variant with him with the Beskar upgrade. Full Beskar, baby. You know, that's what we're all looking for here. So I can't wait to like. I honestly think I'm doing right by myself by collecting these, because it seems to be a very appropriate variant for Star Wars. As we all know, Star Wars action figures are the reason why we have a very good action figure market today. They literally revolutionized the way that we got toys, the mail away stuff. You know, all those are going to be ridiculous. I really honestly think that I'm doing right in collecting Star Wars this way. I may be wrong though. You know, I do know that there's some really, really rare incentives out there. I know that I sold a John Tyler Christopher negative space Anakin for, you know, a wholesale it. So somebody got that one. Yeah, Bosk is the issue 33, Dwayne Scott. That's right. There's some signature series ones out there from the actor that played Bosk, but finding these books raw, man, they're tough. So finding that, if you guys are attending cons, oh yeah, high voltage, Mark. See, and that's just it. See, there's a lot of people out there that are doing exactly what you're doing with that, having the action figure variant signed by the actors who portrayed the character. And that's where most of the Bosks actually went. They went to a signing for the guy who played it. Hauser, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. And again, Hauser is one of the people who have donated to the Ultra Box, so he's VIP in this status. So, yeah, I mean, I continue to grind away at that action figure variant set. I got, like I said, the Rancor, and I got to replace the Yoda number 66, and then we'll see where it takes me, right? So don't forget to subscribe, guys, and tune into the next episode of this Raw Report, and of course the Wednesday Night Comic Book Presser, and of course the Secret variant. But now it is time for this portion of the show. Let's light it up. Hit me up with that Ask Maximus Anything. So I know you guys got questions. You got spec questions. You got all of these things that you're pondering, things that you would want me to answer. So, Real Fake Comics, the Mandalorian comic on FOC, but it's a kid's comic. If it is the Mandalorian number 1, I believe it is the first full appearance in story. We haven't had him in story in comic book appearance as far as I'm aware. I don't know if any of those Star Wars insiders or anything like that are going to count, but that's basically, you know, what we got to play now. Ooh, Hauser asks, Avengers Forever 4 second print worth a buy? And that all depends on how it shakes down for Captain Carter. Is that really the first appearance of Captain Carter in costume in story? And I know that sounds so stupid to say. Oh, well, Real Fake Comics, if the main one comes out in June, but this one comes out in May, is it an IDW book? Oh, see, that may predate the Mandalorian number 1. It may ruin all the Mandalorian number 1 spec. You may be right about that, Real Fake Comics. And that's what it all comes down to. Street date. It really all comes down to how soon can that book get out, and if the other one, or if it gets delayed. Oh, Random House children's books. We'll have to see if it's a comic book format, man. Okay, so back to his question before. So just put some... Kitty Pryde works for me to invest in. Kitty Pryde... Oh, man. Dude, if you're going to invest in Kitty Pryde, it needs to be Uncanny X-Men 129 in both newsstand and... Actually, you want Uncanny X-Men 129 in a direct. 1979, direct market, it's less than 5%. If you take one sip of coffee, that's a buy signal. 2 sips is sell, or the reverse. See, Dwayne Scott, don't take that. I'm just thirsty from talking too much. No, so Real Fit Comics says it's called The Mandalorian to the Rescue. So it all depends on the format of that book. If the format of that book looks anything that resembles like a comic book, not gonna float. But if it does, or if it doesn't resemble or a comic book, the Mandalorian #1 is still a solid bet, and everybody's gonna still be like, first comic book appearance, everybody. Doesn't matter if it appeared in the Star Wars Insider by Peach Momoko, but Star Wars fans. Are Star Wars fans crazy enough to fall for the banana in the tailpipe that is Marvel Previews 93 or 94, getting $9,300? Getting maybe that transaction actually went through, but that money was returned shortly thereafter, or it was attached with a brick of some illicit snow subject. Ooh, Strange Academy 16 first full Howie. I see people talking about that. But first full is just a fancy way of saying second appearance. Shout out to Mel V. First full is a fancy way of saying second appearance. So, Awesome Sauce Radio, maybe a future Spec Matrix on Kitty Pryde would be required. Because honestly, I don't know how to answer that question for you. I know in that I did like that X-Men Forever run, where she phases through Wolverine, and after he dies, she finds out that she has one of his claws in her. So Shadowcat actually gets one of Wolverine's claws, and she sticks the adamantium out and slashes Storm in the face. But we find out it's an evil clone Storm, created by Nanny back in that X-Men 248 where Jim Lee did his first X-Men art. Well, his first Uncanny X-Men issue. Yeah, 139 is probably a good one too, where she joins the team. How do you feel about buying Marvel Gardens with the comics, keeping them sealed or open? Huh? Clarify on that one there, Adam. I'm just glad these questions are PG. Right? Come on, you guys gotta have something. Anybody else? Or Adam is clarifying his question. Take action now. Dead air. Thanks for voltage. Huh? I'm sorry, Adam. You're Surfer 1 or FF50? Okay, so Real Fake Comics says it's a graphic novel. That's tough, man, because that's definitely gonna spoil it for people. But they're still gonna always do. They're always gonna revert back to the Vader 21, right? The Mandalorian cover. They're always gonna revert back to that one. They're always gonna be like, that's the first cover appearance. So it's gonna predate your graphic novel, which predates the #1. So it makes it kind of iffy. But Hauser's asking, Silver Surfer 1 or FF50? What are we talking about here? We're talking about cover buy? Oof, that's still a tough one, even if you just put it up for a cover buy, right? Man, I don't know. I think I probably would take FF50 over it. Oh, Los. I liquidated almost everything except for a few variants I wanted to keep. That's me being honest. I also liquidated a Ms. Marvel second print, Babs Tarr 1 of 25 variant. A bunch of the early issues of her initial volume. I'm a little bit bitter when it comes to Ms. Marvel because I had a 9.8 candidate first print and second print, and they double sold the ones that I had listed. And because somebody bought through my CBSI shop, I honored the sale, man, and I sent them my fucking personal copies. Oh, I know those bitches 9.8'd. So like, that's what happened to me there. So I'm a little bit on the hush hush side there. I don't really like to talk about Kamala too much because it stings. Because I had thousands of dollars right there, man. But you snooze, you lose. Sometimes you can't sell them for what they go for. Okay, so we got Adam's talking about meant to say Marvel Legends. Yeah, I know. Text to speech has been doing some doozies for some of my friends too. I got some Facebook friends going through some funny stuff there. It does it for me too. With the Marvel Legends, man, I don't know. You never know with the Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends could either be a dead giveaway of what they're doing or a total red herring. Remember, they released a Darkhawk figure for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Or Guardians of the Galaxy. Can't remember which one it was. UD Days, they talked about that. And there's a lot of people specking on Darkhawk. He never showed. So we'll see what's up there. So, Ultimate Fallout 4 first print 9.6 CGC or Ultimate Fallout 4 second print 9.8 CGC long term. Man, I mean, if they're both the same price, buy the first print 9.6. If they're not the same price, the second print better be a shit ton cheaper, because from what I'm seeing, that second print should be, it should be infinitesimal compared to the first print just because of the sheer number of them out there. I was a part of a panel that had a panelist on it. He likes to pump books. I mean, his day job is inflating numbers and then skimming off the top. So, I mean, it's kind of his duty to make you all think that you're doing good. So he pumped the shit out of those things. But Miles fans are Miles fans. You're not going to be able to dissuade Miles fans the same way you're not able to dissuade X-Men fans. It's almost, I'm seeing it, all right? I'm seeing it among some of my own friends that Miles fans are really all about everything that's going on in his story. First appearances of people in his circle. First appearances of, key potential villains. His Uncle Aaron being like huge big deal, but Uncle Aaron's been dead since, like some other stuff. So a lot of stuff going on in Miles' book though. But yeah, there's a lot of people who also don't like Miles because he's a rehash of Peter. And there are some people, like making videos about how he's just doing nothing but the same stuff Peter did. Seller hold She-Hulk books. Won't know. But right now, you should probably be selling them. You should have already bought. And when it comes to MCU speccing for you guys to really get the maximized return on your investment, if you can buy 2 copies of some of those key She-Hulk books and sell one and have paid nothing or profited off of selling one and still have one left, that's the right way of doing it. So if you do find a honey hole that has John Byrne covers that are selling for stupid amounts of money for God knows why, and it really is, there's probably somebody out there manipulating the market on those. Not saying this, it's actually happening, but we watched some of those books go from selling in 9.8 for $35 plus shipping to selling for $350 and then $500. And the jump definitely did not go in any sort of linear fashion. But you also have to remember, the people who are selling them are the people who paid little money for them back before the announcement was made, when they were like, oh, I'm hearing stuff through the grapevine that there's going to be a She-Hulk. Well, this is what speccing is. You are trying to get ahead of the curve and buy in low to then sell high. But if you buy in low, you have to sell when the news. You sell on the news. Or you buy in the news and then you sell on the trailer. I mean, you got to have a detachment point where you could be like, okay, I'm up enough. I'll make enough for this to be worth my time. And then let go. All right, so I'm getting Norin Rad asking me my favorite ongoing indie. I really don't have a favorite ongoing indie that I can think of, to be honest. Let's see here. Thoughts on Peter Dinklage as a possible Toxic Avenger? Man, I don't know. It could work. I don't see how, but it could work. It could work. So, let's see here. How do you feel about Spider-Gwen as long-term holds? Honestly, not good long-term holds anymore. I think the boat has sailed on a lot of Spider-Gwen books. There may be a few upcoming books that might sneak under the radar. There might be an incentive variant that people might have missed out on. There might be a store exclusive that just becomes absolute fire. Any one of them has potential, but I think that Spider-Gwen is so well known by now that the people who are ordering and buying her stuff are pre-ordering it well far in advance to make sure that they don't overpay. Because there's only been a couple of books that people like missed out on, like the Hughes Spider-Gwen #1. That was a pretty big one for a while. It's since come down an awful lot. But Edge of Spider-Verse 2 Land, still out of this, it's out there. Edge of Spider-Verse 2, that was a book that I bought for $55 and I think I sold for $75. And that was after holding on to it for years. I think, honestly, the book that treated me the best was Edge of Spider-Verse 2 Third Prince with the design variant. So it's a crapshoot when it comes to that, but where were you when you bought in? That's the real question. Were you buying in at the bottom, meaning you buying that 25 copy land variant off the shelf? Like, man, people left that land variant on the shelf at the local comic shop out here. I mean, I even could have bought it, and I kicked myself for that. So we'll see. All right, so we got Miles is creating. All right, so Dre Barnhouse says they hate on the hoard the books. Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier is true. Like, if you like the character, you should be collecting the books, and you should definitely be buying on the dip, especially if you notice the books dipping out. Miles is creating another universe of characters just like Peter Parker's. Yeah, I mean, basically you are seeing that in the latest run. It's a good read, but I do know the premise of that story. I'm going to find my uncle. What do you think they're doing? They're trying to revive the Prowler. Because they have another version of the Prowler that they don't like in the Marvel Universe. They would rather have Miles' uncle, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, be the Prowler. So let's see what else we got here. Trying to play the best live-action Hulk. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Real Fake Comics says, I noticed something is killing the children stuff has gone down. Do you think it will go up much once another announcement comes? Man, all right. So I'm going to probably get hate mail for this one, but it's all right. You guys don't send me hate mail for my good looks. You send me hate mail for my honesty. So something is killing the children is big for people who collect Something is Killing the Children. Most of the people who are buying the big variants from Something is Killing the Children, the second prints for Something is Killing the Children, are the people who are eventually trying to resell the variants for Something is Killing the Children. They don't care if they have to overpay. They just know the book is hard to come by. So they're going to charge you more for it than what they paid for it in order for them to make their cut. And if you don't want to pay their price, well, eventually a desperate fan comes along and says, oh my God, I know how rare this book is. You only want $250 for it, and that's a reasonable price to them. When they say it to themselves, they break out their wallet and they buy it. But you balked at it because you saw them buy it for like $180. So it's Something is Killing the Children is doing, unfortunately, what I've seen Property in Miami do just before the economic crash. Change hands, and make, thousands of dollars in, percentage or whatever. You make a percentage, but it's changing hands, sometimes minutes, sometimes hours later. tread lightly on that one. Collect what you like always, but Something is Killing the Children is definitely one of those books. If you are not buying it off the shelf release day, at either a discount or just a reasonable buy-in, you're gonna overpay if it gets hot. Because some of those books, again, and Something is Killing the Children also was supposed to be a short, like 6-issue series. It wasn't meant to be what it eventually turned into. So there's that. But you have one of the best writers in the business right now writing a book, and this is probably going to be his cult classic. So it can go any which way. And then we've got Nora and Rad asking, should I sell first Gore the God Butcher now or wait? Well, Nora and Rad, here's where the conundrum comes in. So if Gore dies in Thor Love and Thunder, you should have sold that book on the first trailer announcement. Now, if he lives and he turns out to be a major pain in the ass for people in the MCU for a good couple more movies, you never know. Selling that book early could bite you in the ass, and you could be very disappointed. But if you're selling it at the peak, and you already know that you're out, and it's made you the money that you wanted it to make you, just do what you do. You know, get rid of that book. I would be getting rid of that book at the trailer. That's just what I would do in that position. Awesome Sauce says that I noticed Department of Truth is also taking a dive turn to buy or sell. This one we already know has been picked up by Fox, and it's going to be being made into a movie. You know, it's definitely one of those weird situations. We don't know, because Department of Truth could be huge going forward, and then all of a sudden, well, I mean, they did have some conundrums with some late print variants and stuff like that. But completionists, you know who you are out there. I gotta say that I'm kind of a little bit biased because that Merca and Dolpha variant is one of my favorite Department of Truth variants. The Madeline Monroe, or the Marilyn Monroe. Oh, Awesome Sauce, he's gonna get over it, I promise you. So Lowe says, yep, selling Jane Foster Thor as well. So here's what's weird about that one. And you may be right to start selling Jane Foster Thor stuff because of the movie and being peak popularity. But what I'm seeing in previews and future solicitations and future stories, Jane returns as Thor? So Jane stops being Valkyrie again for a little bit and comes back as Thor? I'm a little bit weirded out by that. But why are they doing that? Are they doing it just to have it coincide with Thor Love and Thunder in the movie? Will that add popularity to the Thor books, allowing you guys who have stayed on the long hold for some of those? There's only a few of those books that I've got left. I think I might have actually sold all my Thor 2s, but I do have the Thor 1 in 50 of her holding the hammer like it's a dick. I think that's one of the most brilliant ones because everybody was real pissed off about her being Thor at that time. And then, yeah. So, wow, you bet hard on Department of Truth, huh? Well, I gotta give a shout out to Wanna Comics for having the Virgin to the A cover for Department of Truth #1. Really clean looking book, and he did Drew did a couple of Virgins for the first couple of issues. So that was where, again, you know, I'm not a real big store variant guy, but I picked up those, and I did the Marilyn Monroe Virgins from that other comic shop. I forget their name at this time. I think it's like Heritage University or something like that. All right, everybody, if that's all you've got for me on this Ask Maximus Anything, I thank you. These questions have been pretty cool, and I hope you've enjoyed the engagement you're getting out of me here. And just know, I am an honest microphone, always willing to answer your questions through this format. I know I don't have a lot of time to be answering people via the IG stuff, which I get bombarded. Let's just be honest. A lot of times I'm clearing icons. I got some chats that I'm in with you know, my drunken chat homies and stuff, but there's a lot of other ones going on that I can't, you know, I can't keep up with. And I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, though. I do hold that in high regard that you guys would think of me so much that you would really reach out to me on that front. But I want to keep it in this format. This keeps it honest, keeps me honest, and plus gives me something to do. So I know it's been a month since I left you without some dope books to spec to, but I promise not to keep you waiting that long. I am waiting on a major... I'm pissed. This is the most I spent. This package I'm waiting on is the most I've spent on a comic, or on a set of comics in a while. See? And Big Remo. What? 4 rings to rule them all. Man, if you get that Q8 3-liter turbo, man, even the base model is gangster as all hell. People making 1,000 horsepower on that 6-cylinder aftermarket turbo kits and such. I have another life, everybody. I am definitely a multifaceted person, and this is the reason why when I say I live life to the maximus, I hope you do too. Whether it be with your family, with your friends, with your hobbies, with comic books, with cars, with studying ancient cultures, or just hanging out and bullshit with some good people in some chats, and maybe even sticking around and hanging out with some people on some Friday nights on some YouTube shows. You never know. You never know. But I appreciate all you guys. I am the Ultra Maximus. I want to thank you again for watching. Looking forward to the next one. And of course, don't forget to like this video, smash that like button beneath it. Don't forget to, of course, click that notification bell for notifications for when I go live, because of course I do drop lives, kind of like guerrilla warfare tactics. Just, you never know when it's coming. Nah, see, here I am being super dramatic. Oh my God, it's after 10 o'clock too. Well, it's past my bedtime, everybody. Past my bedtime. Oh, it's been great. But again, I thank you everybody for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. And check you then. Peace out.